Hey everybody, this is Bill the Adjuster with your smart claim tip. Let it shine. Solar panels, how do they affect my insurance claim? They're everywhere. Look around. They're on houses, depending on the state. Some states give serious rebates. These solar companies come in and start covering the landscape. Has everyone taken into consideration how that may affect my insurance claim? This was brought to us at a request from an email directly to Smart Claim. So please, if you have that question or a question, send it in. We'll do the tip just for you. All right. So I have a big property. That's a big bank barn there, and there's solar panels on it. So I got a metal roof there that has integrated solar and traditional solar. The ones that are lower profile there, they're actually built right into the standing seam roof, and then there's the standalones on the other side. So if there's damage to this property via hail, wind, or a tree lands on it, those solar panels will become part of the claim whether you want to or not, and the value and the costs associated with that become kind of a little bit of an up in the air issue depending on how your policy reads, but I'll try and help you understand it. All right, normal house, we have a roof, we have a couple solar panels in the front and the back, and when the roof is damaged, they cannot repair the roof until the panels are removed to access the roofing material. For the most part, they don't even install solar panels on a roof that is towards its second half of life. They'll actually recommend replacing the roof before doing the panels because they don't want to get involved in the maintenance issue of replacing the roof just because it got old and they just installed solar panels. So that's the first part. Secondly, solar panels and how they affect your policy. Most homeowner policies do cover the cost associated with removing and resetting them without changing your policy. They are a building element. They are part of the house. So if the solar panel company says we're going to charge $2,000 to remove the panels while you replace your roof and put them back on afterwards, that cost is generally covered under a homeowner policy. I would say that's the general answer. It doesn't mean that the panels themselves are that clear cut, but the general answer is that your homeowner's insurance will cover those costs associated with removing and resetting them for repairs to the building. Secondly, you need to consider that a lot of these panels are leased. So that lease may have conditions that are contrary to normal claims, or they may carry their own insurance on the panels. They may require you to carry separate insurance on the panels, and that lease may have specific terms that say how much it will cost to remove and reset the panels in the event of a loss or in the event of a need to remove and reset the panels. Some people want to, put a second story on their house and they need to remove the panels. Some of these have kind of a up through 5 years, it'll cost this much. After 5 years, it costs this much more. But the actual coverage of the panels is also discussed in the lease. So you do need to know that if you don't own your panels and you are leasing them, that lease becomes part of the claim, and understanding who covers the damage either to the panels or those costs associated with resetting them. You should definitely verify your coverage limits on your house. Some of these panel systems are $40,000, $50,000, and what you've done there is increase the cost to rebuild your home. So even though the policy may cover it, you may have voided what is known as the guaranteed replacement cost provision of your policy. So you have a provision in that policy that allows for excess coverage in the event of a loss, but it says that if you made improvements to your house that are greater than, most policies say, greater than $5,000, that provision is now void, which in some cases could be hundreds of thousands of dollars in coverage. So after you put solar panels on your house, especially if you own them, you really need to verify that your coverages are accurate and you've informed your homeowner's insurance company that you've installed them to make sure that you don't void that coverage. So that coverage, again, is one of the most important things that I see out there today to protect people from being underinsured, and installing solar panels that technically are owned by you that have increased the value of your property substantially may void that provision. So please double check that when you get them. Call your agent, call your broker, say I just put solar panels on, they're leased, they're not leased, whatever it is, but have that discussion, get it on record with your agent to make sure that there's no change in coverage, and you've notified them of a substantial improvement, which will then protect you from losing that endorsement. They're probably going to increase your premium slightly, probably not a lot, maybe less than $50, $60 a year for most people. So it's not a big deal, but it does make sense to notify them of the improvement. So standalone panels can be the only real difference. So if you live out in the country or you have a big property and you put in standalone solar, which is basically sitting out in your field that used to just do nothing, and this is awesome, right? You're just making money off panels sitting in the field. Where I live, there's acres and acres and acres of solar panels in the back, fields of people's properties. These are a different story. They're not really part of the building anymore. Quote, they could be another structure, but they're generally more difficult to gain coverage in the policy. These need to be double checked for sure. You may actually need solar panel coverage for standalone panels. So if they're not mounted to the house itself and they're in your yard or on your property, this is the most risk you have under a homeowner policy, to make sure that these are either covered by a lease if you're leasing them, covered by specifically your policy, or by additional coverage for them. May not even be offered by your homeowner insurance. You may need to go outside the market. Most mainstream carriers do have it, but when you have standalone panels, you're at the most risk for coverage. So there's definitely some issues with solar panels. The normal issue, I have a few panels on my house to reduce my bill. The answer is, if I have a damage claim to my roof, they're going to cover it. The answer is, if I have a lease, we double check the lease to see how it's handled. But if I have standalone panels, definitely have an issue that needs to be addressed up front. So that's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you have any questions, you can send us a direct email at smartclaim@metropa.com, or if you have a question about the person who gave the video, you can email them directly. Maybe they can help you as well. Thank you so much, everybody.